Joining me now to discuss the Benghazi investigation and more, Republican Senator from South Carolina and candidate for president Lindsey Graham. Senator Graham, thanks for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
So you were one of the first calling for an investigation over Benghazi. I wonder, as it's evolved now, do you still support the work of that committee? Do you still think it's doing necessary work?
Well, number one, the 7 groups who looked at this before Trey Gowdy never realized that Hillary Clinton had an email system outside of every norm. They never looked at Chris Stevens's emails, the ambassador to Libya. So I think Trey's doing a great job. These other 7 kind of stovepiped it. I've been calling for a joint select committee for well over 2 or 3 years. Trey is doing a good job. He's found things that no one else has found. It's not about Hillary Clinton beyond her being Secretary of State and what she did before, during, and after. And these Republicans, Mr. Hanna in Florida, tell us why you think it's just about her. What evidence do you have?
Well, Democrats point out that the House committee hasn't called the CIA chief, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, the Secretary of Defense to testify. They suggest that if this were a thorough investigation, they would be calling all those folks.
If you've ever been a prosecutor, you would call them after Hillary testifies. If you ever been a defense attorney to put together a case, you want the Secretary of State, who was responsible for Benghazi, to testify first. Then you bring in the military. Then you bring in the CIA. It was her job to secure the consulate, not the CIA director, not the Secretary of Defense, but they should be called after her. And here's a good question for her. When the British closed their consulate because their ambassador was attacked, did she know the British had left Benghazi? And what did she do after they left? Why didn't we leave?
Can I ask you about a specific on the Clinton emails? Over the weekend, we just saw Elijah Cummings. Over the weekend, he said that he had proof that Hillary Clinton did not send the name of a classified CIA source over her private email. Do you accept that, what Elijah Cummings offered as proof? Do you accept that she didn't use her private email to send classified information?
I don't know if she ever used her private email to send classified information. Some of it has since been classified. But Mr. Cummings is a good man. I don't think he would say anything that wasn't true or he believed to be true. But that's just one element of this. It's not about the emails to me. It's about her leadership before, during, and after. How could she have not known about the additional security request? Why were we the only one with the consulate really left open after the British and the Red Cross left? What'd she do on the night of the attack? And why did she tell the families when the bodies came back, we're going to get the guy who made the video? The video and protest never occurred. Video had nothing to do with the protest because there was no protest. So Trey Gowdy, in my view, is doing a good job. He's found things that no one else has found. Let's hear what Secretary Clinton has to say in light of all these revelations. You know, the Chris Stevens email where he made a joke, basically, I should ask some other government for security because I can't get any from my own. That's pretty stunning. Let
me ask you about politics before we run out of time here, because you are a candidate for president. Donald Trump talking about 9/11, blaming, well, I shouldn't say blaming, but suggesting that perhaps he blames
No, he
George.
is blaming.
You say blaming. And
well,
what do you think of that? What do you make of that?
I think Mr. Trump has the worst foreign policy position of anybody in the Republican field. Here's the question you should ask Mr. Trump. You said you wouldn't go into Afghanistan after 9/11. Well, what would you have done after the attack? How could you not go take the Taliban down, who invited al-Qaeda in to attack our country? How could you not deal with the Taliban in Afghanistan after 9/11? He said he'd never gotten involved in Afghanistan. So no, I don't blame President Bush 43 at all. He's very popular in South Carolina. I think Mr. Trump has no clue of what he's talking about. He doesn't have a strategy to degrade and destroy ISIL, deal with radical Islam. He's showing a lack of understanding of the Mideast. And he said if he'd been president, 9/11 would never happen because of his immigration policy. 16 of the 19 hijackers were here legally. 3 had overstayed their visas. Please tell us how your immigration plan would have prevented 9/11. I'm dying to hear.
He's in your state tonight, sir. I take it you won't cross paths, probably.
No, I don't think we will, but I'll tell you this. Bush 43 is very popular in South Carolina, and most South Carolinians don't appreciate what Mr. Trump's saying about President Bush. And over time, most South Carolinians will understand that Donald Trump is not prepared to be commander-in-chief because he doesn't have a clue of what he's talking about.
Senator Lindsey Graham, always appreciate your perspective. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.